home video.
One thing becomes abundantly clear early on in 1984's Conan the Destroyer. You'll notice it even sooner if you have a lactose intolerance. It's really cheesy. That's what I'm getting at here. Legendary producer Dino De Laurentiis wanted franchises, and the dependable box office returns they provide. He felt like Conan had that kind of potential. During production of Conan the Barbarian, he and director John Milius butted heads constantly over the graphic violence and gritty tone of the film. De Laurentiis feared that both would turn audiences, especially younger audiences, away. And despite Conan the Barbarian being one of the highest-grossing films of 1982, De Laurentiis wanted the sequel, Conan the Destroyer, to be more comic book in tone. Now, The Destroyer isn't quite as cheesy as Flash Gordon, another movie De Laurentiis had franchise hopes for. But The Destroyer is still quite a departure from its predecessor, and a major step down in terms of quality. Now, that doesn't mean that The Destroyer isn't a fun movie, because it certainly is. Again, you just have to have a certain tolerance for cheese. This time around, Conan, joined by a new sidekick played by veteran character actor Tracy Walter, team up with the princess, her bodyguard played by NBA legend Wilt Chamberlain, and a barely clad, wooden staff-wielding Grace Jones to steal a mystical key for reasons. That's about all the plot we get here, and it's all but exhausted by the 15-minute mark. The rest of the movie is comprised of one zany but elaborate set piece after another. Among them, Conan faces off against a wizard in his ice castle within a mirrored room. There, Conan wrestles a creature that looks like something right out of Wes Craven's Swamp Thing, and we're treated to this. You gotta love the cast here, too. Grace Jones plays Zula. She's a wild-eyed warrior woman who you wouldn't want to piss off. Or turn on. Olivia d'Abo plays the Virgin Princess. I only mention that she's a virgin because it's integral to the plot, and a constant running joke of sorts, because she's got the hots for Conan, but doesn't know how to make her move. Wilt Chamberlain doesn't have much to do here, or very much of a character, either. He was cast because he's Wilt the Stilt, and was almost 7 feet tall. Chamberlain also claims to have slept with 20,000 women. So he's nearing my record. Mako returns as Akiro, the wizard. He's the only actor aside from Arnold to reprise their role from the first film. In The Barbarian, Akiro was the comic relief. However, Tracy Walters Malik wears that cap here. It's an odd pairing. Mako feels wasted, honestly. His character is really only around for one scene and is just there for the rest. Sarah Douglas is the villainous Queen Tamaris. I love Sarah Douglas, but she's no James Earl Jones, and the script does her no favors. Douglas is pretty much wasted here too because she's barely in the movie. The pacing is also an issue. I get the sense that the script was either not completed or certainly not polished, because some scenes just go on and on and on for no other reason than to pad out the runtime. The bulk of the story follows Conan and crew as they wander around in order to capture one MacGuffin so that they can wander around some more and use that MacGuffin to get their hands on another MacGuffin. Also, Conan can finally duke it out in the end with a guy in a big monster suit. The guy in said monster suit just happened to be wrestling legend Andre the Giant, by the way. The battle scenes lack the epic qualities of the first film, and because De Laurentiis demanded a PG rating, the violence and bloodshed are toned way down. But while Conan the Destroyer is a disappointment compared to The Barbarian, it certainly still has its charms. The fight inside the Hall of Mirrors, the battle at the end leading up to Conan's face-off with the demonic Dagoth, the set design, the costumes, the score, are all high points. The addition of Grace Jones as Zulu was an inspired casting choice. Tracy Walters is good for a belly laugh or two, and of course, Arnold. And if you know me, then you know that I like a little, or a lot, of cheese every now and again. Just like Conan the Barbarian, I've seen Conan the Destroyer countless times. It's not great, and it completely backfired on De Laurentiis when it came to his dreams of Conan becoming a franchise. But it's still fun. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. As for this new limited edition 4K UHD release from Arrow Video, it is all killer and no filler. Just like their limited edition release for Conan the Barbarian, Conan the Destroyer is treated like royalty here. This release features a 4K restoration from the original camera negative. The image quality is fantastic, with a high level of depth, clarity, and detail. The image quality complements the costume and set designs nicely, and the skin tones look natural. As for audio, we get the original mono track, which has been newly restored, as well as a new Dolby Atmos track. The audio quality here sounded crystal clear, clean, and robust. Overall, I'd give both the picture quality and the sound quality on this release perfect scores, 5 out of 5. As for presentation, everything comes inside this sturdy box. Here is the case. The sleeve is reversible. There's the disc. This release comes with 6 double-sided collector's postcards. We get an illustrated collector's booklet featuring new writing by Walter Chaw and John Walsh and an archive set report from Paul M. Salmon. We also get a double-sided fold-out poster. As for extras, first we have Casting the Destroyer with casting director Johanna Ray. It's 5 minutes and 12 seconds in length. Ms. Ray discusses working with Richard Fleischer and how great he was, casting Grace Jones and Wilt Chamberlain, Tracy Walter replacing David Lander, and more. Next we have Cut from a Different Cloth with costume designer John Bloomfield. It's 9 minutes and 10 seconds in length. Mr. Bloomfield discusses the costumes he designed for Arnold, meeting Grace Jones and what an experience that was, working with Sarah Douglas, Wilt Chamberlain, and more. Next we have Dune and the Destroyer with art director Kevin Phipps. It's 15 minutes and 23 seconds in length. Mr. Phipps discusses working as an assistant art director on Dune and how that led him into working directly afterward on Conan with many of the same crew from Dune. Next we have Swords, Sorcery, and Stunts with stunt coordinator Vic Armstrong. It's 13 minutes and 17 seconds in length. Mr. Armstrong discusses the difficulty of finding a horse that Wilt Chamberlain could ride, because he was so tall, of course. Working with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Richard Fleischer, and Wilt Chamberlain, he discusses how Grace Jones injured several stuntmen during the making of the film. She was dangerous with that big bow staff. He discusses the Hall of Mirrors scene and more. Next, we get Behind the Destroyer with John Walsh. It's 10 minutes in length. Mr. Walsh is the author of Conan the Barbarian, the official history of the film. We have 2 archival featurettes, Conan, the Making of a Comic Book Legend from 2001, and Basil Polydoris's Composing the Conan Saga, also from 2001. We get a trailer gallery and an image gallery, and we get an isolated score track. We also get 4 audio commentaries, the first with Richard Fleischer, the second with Olivia d'Abo and Tracy Walter, the third with Sarah Douglas, Kim Newman, and Stephen Jones, and the fourth with Paul M. Salmon. This is an absolutely beautiful release for Conan the Destroyer from the fine folks over at Arrow Video. If you're a fan of Conan the Destroyer, this thing needs to be on your shelf. Let me know your thoughts on Conan the Destroyer down in the comments section below. And while you're down there, let me know, do you prefer Conan the Destroyer or Conan the Barbarian? Which is your favorite Conan? Let me know. If you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up and share it on social media. If you're not following me on social media, those links are in the description. As always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care, and until next time, peace. A huge thank you to all my patrons and channel members for your generosity and support. Become a patron today and get early access to videos, have a say in what content appears on my channel, join me for monthly live streams, exclusive watch parties, and more. Become a channel member today and get access to exclusive badges and emotes to use when I stream, as well as members-only watch parties. Both those links are in the description. Say hello to the internet, Jeremy.
Hello to the internet.